Now, this story tells us what Abraham picking a child for his a daughter for marriage. That's practicing the incest way of we call it incest today. I don't have problem with that at all. It doesn't necessarily mean that I may end up. I don't feel comfortable, honestly, like everybody else, to sort of be with my closest sister or closer related person that I know. It doesn't also rule the fact that I may end up with somebody who might be a family member closer to me and not know and still will not be in that uncomfortable state that I feel towards those who are close to me. But when I begin to know, because that is the society I'm in, and that's how I've also been adapted to accept. And so, knowing all these things now, even if I happen to be in that situation where I didn't know and it happened, knowing what I know now, I'm not going to slaughter myself. Because I'm aware of it now. I'm aware of the instances of what things are. It may not be how things began. But at the end of the day, I have seen that the answers are not really from both sides. So I will not live in a guilt that, but I realize that you are my sister or you are my cousin and we've been together, so I'm going to kill myself. You have to break this relationship because I don't want it, I don't want, no. If I start going along that line, I am trying to hold on to the ideas that have been presented to me as it being wrong or incest and all those things, which it might be the case. Is incest all right? It might be whatever we call it to be. But the knowledge has proved to me that incest thing was something that was being practiced in even our normal life, and that's how we even came about. It's okay, there's nothing wrong. And basically, in our own personal life, we have decided to make that choice because it is uncomfortable to be in that state. It is not necessarily coming from a living God. Since I know that my source of life or my source of existence has no issue on those issues, it is just me, my personal engagement, my personal moral standard, my own thing that I've adapted or I've sort of I've adapted or I have somehow been brought up to embrace, to accept. Then I have to know that it's up to me also not to end up. We are all bound to mistakes. We are bound to fall into that situation because how am I supposed to know everything? I don't know that. So I don't have to kill myself, find myself. I also have to see it, embrace it. It's like, okay, that was my destiny. That was how things should have been. This is how things will be, of course, because things are not straightforward. I have ended up this way. I have to embrace that and settle with that, or move on with that. It is not hell or demonic. The outcome of it should not be demonic, or should not even consider it demonic, or allow others to consider it demonic. It's just something which is normal. I embrace and just move on with my life. But if I had not known, which others find themselves in that situation, religiously have their moral standard convicted, and they haven't learned these things that I'm opening up today, they will get frustrated. They will go ballistic. They will go crazy. No, I can't stand it. I didn't know that you are my sister. Of course, how would you know everything? You have your cousins all over the place, your uncles everywhere. What? They have children that you don't even know about. So there are chances that people meet people that they didn't even know they were related to, or they were close related to. They never know them, and they met them. They fell for each other, and it was okay when they didn't know, but it became a problem when they found out or they knew. It's happy. It's there that we see people that we all have relations that are close to that we don't even know. So we might end up there. But you need to be having the knowledge that you need to know to discover that wherever our morals of setup has been, it has not coming from a background that solidly tells us that it is a taboo and it should bring a curse upon us. But we have made those things. We have settled that way. We have accepted that way because we feel that it is good. It is better for us because it is comfortable for us. And it is comfortable because the brother or sister you grow up with, you sort of find difficulty, which is normal for you to feel that way. You can just, you're so used to her that you will not feel that intimacy will not just come up. Unless you are too much the person who, you have no control to your emotional desires. You sort of anything, and that's something which is faulty as well. That can be what we say too much, which is not good. You have to be self-controlled in so many ways. But you may find another distance away sister that may not necessarily be closer to you, that you never came up with, and you will see that you intimately feel something towards that person, which is normal for you in today's sense, and even normal in every sense, in a normal sense, because you didn't grow up the person, so you naturally will find it hard to resist the person's status of what the person might look like or person might be, which is normal in that sense, to the human level, to human understanding, than engaging in someone who it's just not. But it has nothing to do with God. It is not God's suggestion or anything. But if it happens even that way, I don't think God have issues with that. So when you fall into that category, whether you did it intentionally or not intentionally, I don't think you should be condemned or judged or accused in any way. If the two of you had no offense towards each other, that's fine. The only way it might be a problem is the other party was forced. You are living in the family and your uncle forced his niece and slept with her, or your brother forced a sister and slept with her, or a sister end up deceiving a brother and slept with him. Anything of that nature, which it is not a willing approach on both sides, that kind of thing, then that is terrible. It's a sin. You are offending the other person who did something that you did not like. Even if it's not within the family, it's outside the family where you are distant, live later, you don't know each other very well, and it happens. It is still something which is wrong. You've done something to that person that he didn't want. You forced her into a state that he never want. To my view, this is sin. This is wrong. But any engagement, a man and a woman, it doesn't have categories or whatever, because if you're even in a Christian sense, then you are in the sense of believing that is how we all came about in the first place. That's how God intended and made us to be what we are. So you should even be cool to the whole issue idea than anybody else. If you're coming from the Muslim too, you have that same link. Or if you're coming from outside that, which you have a different belief of God, people coming from all different sources, then you have a different approach. But at the end of the day, you also will see that at the end of the day, if that even happens in a natural life, you can't just curse that people and condemn those people and say that no, it is wrong for them to have engaged or to do that or to allow such a thing. It's a taboo. It is not a taboo anywhere. It's neither here nor there. If it happens, whichever way. But the only thing is that it is always wrong. You don't need God or anything. It's common sense you tell that it is wrong to pursue the other without his willing acceptance of whatever it is that you pursue or whatever act that you take upon that person. If that person decides to persecute you or put you into that situation, he has every right to do so. You have gone against his will or his desire, his wishes. That is the sin. This is where sin comes into play. This is what I think sin should be defined, or how sin is being defined, properly defined, without it being misinterpreted or being used in the wrong way. But if we have a simple definition like this, it's very, very more understanding and more peaceful and more embracive, or should be more embracive than any other things we keep, specifically calling out certain things and say this is sin. Sin is that. Sin is that. Sin is stealing. Sin is stealing. Sin is killing. Sin is. If you just go ahead with that straightforward, direct definition of sin, of certain elements of actions that is being done is sin, then you are putting yourself in a corner where those same things you have considered to be sin is being done. The same action that's being taken where the reasons behind it justify it being done. You understand? And you may be very worried about it because whoever going through it might not be offended in it. People kill themselves willingly, they do that, or ask people to do them willingly, ask people to do it, kill them willingly. What I saw in YouTube of people killing somebody, if it was done in a sense that the person who was being slaughtered asked for them to kill him, that he wanted that death, he willingly wanted to die, there's no sin. They have not done anything wrong to do that, to cut himself that way, because he willingly wanted that. Now I hope that he wasn't persuaded or convinced or deceived through all those means to put him into the state of